All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about why I think play to earn will fail and this will win instead. So in my opinion, play to earn gaming, it's kind of a broken model and it's gotten us to where we are right now with blockchain gaming, but I think it's unsustainable because it overvalues money versus fun. So here's the deal. When the majority of gamers in a game are trying to earn, where is the revenue coming from? Where is the spending coming from, right? You can't just have free money from nowhere. If somebody is basically earning money from a video game, there has to be some sort of other side of that, right? And with a lot of these play to earn games, what that other side is usually new people who want to come in and play to earn and to basically make money, but they have to buy like an expensive NFT then to earn money. So it essentially ends up being a Ponzi scheme where you have new people coming in, paying a bunch of money, and then they earn more money, and it's all reliant on new people coming in. And that second new people stop coming in, as we saw with Axie Infinity, you just have massive inflation and the game economy just goes, it goes kaboom. So that's reason number one, right? That I feel like it's unsustainable. Now, with a play to earn game where there's such a focus on the fact that you can earn, there's a strong motivation to turn it into an economic activity versus you going out there and spending money in that in-game economy, right? Like if you're actually coming in with the intent of earning, you're not going to go buy that $20 skin or pay $10 for a new game mode or a new map, right? You're just going to try to optimize everything to actually earn revenue from it. And that's where you have guilds and scholarships and this whole ecosystem around that. And again, as I said, unless you have people spending, you don't have that flip side of a real economy. Now, with games that are just pure fun focused, right, where your main goal is fun and your mindset is on enjoying the game to new maps and new game modes, right? Because that gets you more of what you want, which is fun. So if you look at games with actual real world economies, right? So World of Warcraft, for example, because there's this whole gold mining kind of aspect of it, right? Where people grind in World of Warcraft to essentially sell in-game items for real money. Really, only a small percentage of players do that. I think it's around 1% or so, right? So even in like a game like World of Warcraft, the main appeal is fun, and then maybe there's a small subset of the economy towards actual economic activity. So in my opinion, unless a significant portion of a game is purely for fun, I would argue maybe even the majority, the game economy is going to be unsustainable because there's just going to be so much more supply, right? Because people are going to be earning the in-game token and they're going to be cashing out, but nobody's going to really be using it unless, it's new entrants to the game, right? Which again goes back to the Ponzi whole analogy. So you need some way of, basically balancing out the players who are there for fun versus players who are there for money, right? And right now, if there's a lot of people who are there for the money, it's not gonna be a sustainable economy. Now, you also have to consider that earners are usually organized into guilds, and these guilds very much grinding, it's very predictable, and this doesn't usually lead to the most fun experience for other players in multiplayer game modes, right? They're often predictable players. So if you're doing some sort of multiplayer game, do you really want to play against somebody whose only intention is to grind it out and just earn the in-game token? No, you want to actually play for fun. And that's why games like Fortnite are so fun, because you're in there and you're just trying to do an experiment and have fun with it. And your only goal is to like have fun, not, win every match every single time so you can earn money. So guys, I want to put forth a few alternate models to play to earn, right? So you could still have players own in-game assets and have, an economy based on a token. However, the focus should be on fun, and the in-game assets shouldn't allow you to have an advantage over other players when it comes to actually winning and playing the game. So there should be demands from players for cosmetics, cool items that enhance the experience but are scarce, but they don't give you an advantage in game, right? This is a sustainable economy as some people are trying to earn, but most players are in there for the fun, right? Because the focus on the marketing, on how the game is being sold, on how it's being introduced to the world is focused on, hey, there's this really fun experience, and maybe there's an economic side to it, but you're playing it because of fun, right? So an example of this is EVE Online, because there is such a strong economic aspect, not in the sense of like, yeah, you can have the big sales of happening of ships and so on in EVE Online for real life money, but people play it because it's fun, and then the whole side of like basically economic activity in game to gather resources or to build stuff is more of a way to improve upon that fun, right? But it's like people are not worried about getting an ROI and selling and cashing out for real life cash, right? Most people never really buy stuff in EVE Online for actual money other than from the game developer, right? So they're not doing player to player kind of sales most of the time. So the profit potential, so with a model like this, the profit potential should be there, but it should be pretty small, and the game should be really actively discouraging kind of guilds and like scholarships. I think those are what lead to kind of just like grinding and probably will make the game experience worse for other people. I think it should be more like, okay, there is profit potential here, but it's not so easy to figure out, right? It's more like, okay, it's not a style of gameplay where you just have like a whole team of 100 people that all do the same actions over and over to earn certain amount of money. It should be much more random, right? There should be a element of variability where you could earn big but also maybe lose your earnings, and that's what makes it fun when it's variable and a little bit like just unpredictable. Now, that's one model, right? The second model is user-generated content. So reward creators for building out the ecosystem. For example, metaverse projects could actively reward creators in their ecosystem. So instead of focusing on land sales and just selling land to raise money, how about actually focus on encouraging user-generated content, encouraging people to create amazing experiences in the ecosystem, and then rewarding those people with a percentage of in-game revenue / in-game tokens, etc. Pay for those game modes or these new maps. The demand side in this case would be people who want to basically pay for new maps, game modes, skins, etc. And the supply side is from creators and people who are essentially providing this content. And if you think about it, this is what I think will work out over the land sale model, because land encourages squatting, right? Like people just buy land to speculate on it and they don't really build on it. Unless you can combine that with some sort of system where you can do revenue sharing with creators on your land if they build cool experiences, which I think is a good solution, you're essentially limiting creativity, because most creators don't have the money to go spend 5 Ethereum on some plot of land. So there is some possibility there with user-generated content, with these metaverses and even games. For example, me, when I was a kid, I used to love playing all these Halo custom game modes, and I would totally pay for that. And that's a great way to set up an in-game economy using blockchain and NFTs. Now, the third model is the decentralized ownership / an advanced Kickstarter. Model. So in this case, you don't really need to even have NFTs in game. You could if you want to, but what you're using the blockchain more for is to really raise funding for a game. So this is Kickstarter on steroids, right? Which is what a lot of the current NFT launches for gaming projects are. They're Kickstarter on steroids. But in many cases, people are just shoehorning an in-game economy and NFTs into it, while what you could actually do is just essentially give people ownership over the game in either governance or either some sort of basically, for example, having free lifetime access to the game and free upgrades, free whatever, and having that elite membership tier. And you don't necessarily need to have everything in the game be based on a token or an NFT, right? So it could be where the NFT is literally an out-of-the-game NFT, and it's just a lifetime pass to this game, and that's how you raise money for new projects. So you can create a traditional game, but using blockchain and NFTs as a fundraising mechanism. So this is an interesting model because you can raise funding and share those benefits through NFTs, but you don't have to put those NFTs in game and turn it into like basically a blockchain game, right? Where everything's, basically a token or NFT. It could literally just be your NFT. As long as you have it in your wallet, you have access to the game for your lifetime and all the free upgrades, and maybe you get exclusive holder events, etc. So I see this model being something that big gaming projects use. So again, you don't need to make every game a play-to-earn game. And then the last model I see is a competitive esports model. So this is where you are essentially having play-to-earn based on winning ranked matches. So this could basically be, like FPSs, where you have spectator-based tournaments. You can't really grind your way through this, right? You have to have actual skill, and then the blockchain will allow for rewards to be paid out fairly, and you could have spectators kind of elements of it as well, where people could even potentially just watch this and pay to watch this. So this model could work, as most people play for fun, but a good number would try to go pro, right? So there's, you see that esports is a real competitive thing. So there would be revenue generated from sponsorships over here, tournaments, theater as another kind of part of the ecosystem, and leads to additional revenue generation from advertising, sponsorships, etc. And you don't really need to have any kind of play to earn element to the actual unranked / majority of the game, right, where people are playing for fun, right? That should be just purely fun, but you can then use blockchain technology and NFTs for actually the ranked aspects of this. So I do see some opportunities in that, where you could turn this into something where some small portion of the game economy would be focused on just basically these ranked tournaments and so on. And that, I think, is a lot more sustainable, because again, like most players, they just want to have fun with it. If you allow them to have fun, but then also have this strong revenue stream from tournaments and spectator sports, that's a really solid model as well. So those are a few alternatives. Again, I would love your feedback. I would love any comments below based on what you think about these. And thanks for watching this video. Smash the subscribe button. Love you all.